A very warm welcome to you at home. I am Musam Kalipi, and this is Afroshowbiz News. As always, we continue to bring you all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Once more, we love hearing from you, so send us those emails at afroshowbiznews@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowbizNews. Let's have a look at stories making headlines this week. African Fashion Week to debut in Nigeria in May this year. The National Film and Video Foundation will be hosting the African Day at the Pan-African Film Festival. Renowned artist Walter Altman exhibits at the Standard Bank Art Gallery in Johannesburg. The National Film and Video Foundation is hosting South African Day at the Pan-African Film Festival, which is currently taking place in Los Angeles, USA. It will run until the 17th of February 2014.
The Pan-African Film Festival is dedicated to racial tolerance and cultural understanding among people of African descent through the exhibition of film, art and creative expression. South African Day is scheduled to take place on the 15th of February, which include a discussion forum on filming to foster relations between South African and African American filmmakers. The forum will also feature special screening of 2 South African films as part of the 20 Years of Democratic Celebrations, which are Sobukwe, directed by Miki Madoda Dube, and State of Violence by Kaloma Taban. The festival is also screening a total of 12 films made in South Africa. The films which will be featured is the animation feature Kumba by Anthony Silverstone, Itala by Zuko Nodada, African Cypher by Brian Little, Dance Up from the Street by Peter Goldsmith, Security by Mark Middlewick, The Forgotten Kingdom by Andrew Marge, Freedom Road by Shane Vermoten, Hitting the Waves by Olga Mtiani, Kanye Kanye by Miklas Maneke, Blood Tikoloshi by Jordan Holland, and Felix by Roberta Durant.
Liberia's regional secretary for the Pan-African Federation of Filmmakers has called on the Liberian government to make provision in the national budget for the country's film industry. Malama Kamara says National Fund for Cinematography will impact on the industry through quality of production, while it will also provide Liberians with job opportunities within the industry.
Your lawyer to join me in your own business. Of course.
The movie industry in Liberia is among the first on the continent to produce films. Despite this, it has had a stagnant growth compared to others on the continent.
If you give me another daughter or a son, I won't bother you. You can take your son with you.
Kamara, who is Ghanaian, says cinematography serves as a medium of education, reconciliation, cultural exposure, as well as entertainment for its citizens.
Okay, but then be good. I will try and get funny.
Although some films have received international recognition, a lot needs to be done to ensure that the industry grows at a steady rate.
What are you talking about? I just spoke to my mom the day before yesterday. She wasn't sick, nothing wrong with her. So what's gonna kill her?
To waive that right, anything you say.
Well, what's the problem?
Will be taken.
What have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
Just listen to me. Do you understand me?
The second edition of the Breathe Sunshine African Music Conference will take place next weekend. The event will feature interactive learning lessons which will be dedicated to the digital space. To talk to us more on this, we are joined by Trenton Birch, founder of the conference, as well as Thabo Mobo, partner of Black Mango. Hello and welcome to Afroshowbiz News.
Hi Musa, how you doing?
Good to have you. Now Trenton, please take us through. What does this specific conference entail?
It's a conference focused on the music industry. It operates on 2 different levels. So firstly, we deal with people who are already in the industry in terms of knowledge sharing and learning and transfer of information. But then we also have a big section which deals with young people who are trying to get into the industry or who are dabbling or who are young artists and producers. And we have workshops called Empowering Your Art. So we basically hit it at different levels. So we're trying to basically unify and build the industry so that people start working together more harmoniously.
All right. Now, Thabo, why do you think such conferences are important for people in the music industry in the country?
Well, essentially, it's really good for growing the industry as a whole. Internationally, the business of music is really doing well. But in terms of South African music, there's a lot of growing that needs to happen in terms of the business of the music.
All right. Now, Trenton, as an artist from Germany, what will you be bringing to the conference?
I mean, we obviously run the whole event, so we tie everything together. We work across different genres, so we make sure whether you're making like Afrikaans traditional music or if you're making hip hop, we try and pull as many people together. And what we've done is also increased our international contingent. So we have a whole panel called Meet the Germans, and we do have a big artist called Gentleman. He's one of the biggest reggae artists in the world, who is coming down and will also be performing on our event on the Sunday, which is called the Breathe Sunshine Unity Jam. So we're also trying to build links internationally with the international industry, because overseas South African music is really, really growing. And by bringing in internationals to learn from their experience and build links so that our artists can go over to Europe and America, etc., has really started to help boost the industry.
All right. Now, Thabo, this is the second conference. How do you think this one will be different compared to the one that took place before?
Well, it has grown exponentially in the sense that we've grown our offering. Last year we had workshops and panels as well as on the couches, and this year what we've added to that, besides the Unity Jam, which happens on the Sunday featuring Gentlemen and a number of other artists, is we have indabas where we've invited producers. We have a producer indaba as well as an indaba that features promoters in Cape Town. And basically what we've done with that is we've created an opportunity where the city as well as promoters can sit together and discuss the issues which they have.
All right. Now, Trenton, a brand new Unity Jam will take place in Langa Township. Take us through the lineup.
We've obviously got Gentlemen from Germany. We have Ifani from Johannesburg. We have Dreamanskarp. We have Crosby, Tebe, Youngster, Jeremy Loops. Who else? We have Mighty. A really big, robust lineup. Real Rosanos DJing, and we've basically mixed it up. We've got like house guys like Foster. We've got Dilo Exclusive, who's actually doing a set with Jimmy Gludlu, so he'll be playing house music, and Jimmy will be playing over the top. We're trying to make it as eclectic as possible, and one of the aims of this event is to try and get people out of the city into the townships, because we still have big divides, especially in Cape Town. And it's just, it's about using music. Music should unify us, but often it actually divides us. So we're trying to create a platform where people can come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and actually unify through the message of music.
All right. Thabo, the program aims to inspire artists. What are your expectations with this regard?
Well, we hope that artists that do come to the conference will leave inspired, but besides leaving inspired, what we'd like to achieve, part of the conference is about creating this environment which is conducive to knowledge exchange. So what we hope is going to happen is that many business relationships or new relationships will come forth from the conference as well. So as much as it's about learning, it's also about networking and leaving the conference knowing more people and things like that.
All right. I'm afraid that is where we'll have to leave it. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Trenton and Thabo joining us from the SABC studios in Cape Town. Zambian rapper and star winner of the 2012 UK's BAFTA Award, Keda, is calling for more support in the music industry in his home country.
Zambian rapper Keda's career in music started in 2000 when he was discovered by a local producer who helped him record his first single, a hit that went straight to the top of the regional chart. He has just finished recording his fourth 14-track album, which features the hit song "Am Alive," but expresses disappointment at the lack of support for his music.
Like what happened before last year, I won the BAFTA Award, and it was a very big achievement for just not me, but even for Zambia. It was a bit the likes of Dibanj and Zahara, which wasn't really like easy, but I managed to. So I felt like we needed the support from Zambians.
While the taste for local music in Zambia has grown over the years, artists have to compete for airtime with international hits preferred by many young listeners.
I remember some time back when we used to go to places, you'd go to a place, you find that 3/4 of the music that was being played was actually too Western. But now, everything is becoming Zambian, and I think we are doing a good job.
The government recently began implementing a law-abiding radio station to air 75% local content as per the Broadcasting Service Act.
I think we need people with money to pump in. You know, we need endorsements, we need sponsors, and then we need also the power from the government, that's the word from the government for this piracy to die, because that's what eating our work.
That was Raf Keda. We will now go for a short ad break. Renowned artist Walter Altman is currently exhibiting at the Standard Bank Art Gallery in Johannesburg. His exhibition offers new insights to those familiar with Altman's work. He uses different materials for his latest exhibition.
One of South Africa's finest and most intriguing artists. The theme for his exhibition in the Standard Bank Art Gallery is In the Weave.
The exhibition is called In the Weave clearly because weaving is the basis of my work. It's also very much, I think my work is very much sort of founded on drawing. I draw a lot, and especially the later work is very much almost drawing in wire. So it's a kind of drawing with line in three-dimensional space. And yeah, the In the Weave really seemed to be an appropriate title to cover that kind of work that I do.
It celebrates 3 decades of his work. He says a part of his inspiration comes from lifeless insects. Altman says through art these can then return to life. Although known for his drawings and prints, Altman is also celebrated for his wire sculptures. The techniques he uses are similar to handcrafts. Altman's works are a sensitive blend of finely observed natural forms and poetic social comment. He reveals his fascination with the natural world, art history, and its intersection with science.
The creatures that you're referring to are mainly insects, and they're not the kind of furry, huggy kind of animals that we so love, but animals that we tend to want to exterminate. So they sort of evoke a particularly strong reaction in us, and I quite like to play with that sort of strong emotional response that we have to them.
Altman's imagery includes skulls, skeletons, and cut flowers in vases, serpents, locusts, silverfish, and many other creatures. He also investigates the interface between human and insect, which reflect on society's preoccupation with defense. This startling distortion of scale renders the familiar and unfamiliar, provoking the viewer to see these objects afresh.
The Rocky Horror Show has had the longest release in the film industry thus far. The iconic show just opened at the Peter Torin Theatre in Johannesburg.
The Rocky Horror Show has opened at Monte Cassino at the Peter Torin Theatre this Friday. The play, produced by Eric Abraham and the Fugard Theatre, tells the story of a newly engaged couple getting caught up in a storm. They then find themselves in the home of a mad transvestite scientist unveiling his new creation, a muscle man named Rocky Horror. This play began in London in 1973, and it continues to fascinate audiences around the globe. The live on-stage band accompanies the cast every night as they build out the iconic show. This classic musical features hits like Science Fiction, Double Feature, The Infamous, The Time Warp, and Touch Me. So far, the show has received acclaim from the audiences as it was first launched in Cape Town last month. The Rocky Horror Show's superb all-South African cast is led by Brendan van Ryn as Dr. Frank Anfurter and Paul du Toit as Brad and many other talented members. Dressing up for every performance has proven very popular amongst audience members, with fashion fishnets and leather attires. With every performance taking place on a Friday and Saturday night at 8 p.m., there will be an official dress-up. The show is open for a limited 10-week season only.
African clothing is the latest trend internationally. Even Louis Vuitton has taken situation material to the runways of Europe. Now, for the first time, Nigeria will show off the latest African trends in the West African country. Nigeria is calling this one African Fashion Week Nigeria. It will be held on the 17th and 18th of May in Lagos. Organizers say this is the biggest platform dedicated to African-inspired fashion. The event will feature designers from across the African continent. It will also give various industry players a chance to interact with each other. African Fashion Week Nigeria will be attended by fashion designers, fabric manufacturers and printers. It will also give an opportunity for emerging designers to showcase alongside those who are already experienced in their craft. This will be to celebrate culture, style and increase their passion for clothes. African Fashion Week first took place in 2011. It has created platforms for over 100 UK and non-UK designers who have showcased their collections in the British capital. This week's book is We Need to Know New Names by Zimbabwean author No Violet Bulawayo. We Need New Names tells the story of Darling, a 10-year-old growing up in politically unstable Zim. The book follows the girl's journey to her aunt's house in depressed Michigan in the United States of America. When she moves to America, Darling understandably experiences a culture shock. No Violet manages to paint a portrait of immigrant experience, the expectation to come, and the struggle to adapt. She also tells the entrapment of illegal immigrants who are unable to return home. It has been shortlisted for the 2013 Man Booker Prize, the Guardian Book Award and the Barnes and Noble Discover Award. You are still watching Afroshowbiz News. If you have missed out on any of our shows, be sure to log on to our YouTube page by simply searching for Afroshowbiz News. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @Afroshowbiz News. Time for another break. See you right after. For the first time, the People's Choice Award was launched by the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe this year.
The National Arts Council of Zimbabwe launched the People's Choice Award category earlier this week. This category will be presented at the National Arts Merit Awards, which will be held at Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. The People's Choice Award is a special award given to an artist or arts organization selected by the public. The public is urged to vote for their favorite artist to be considered for this award. The artist with the most votes will be honored on the day of the awards. Nominees for the rest of the other categories were announced on Wednesday. The categories include music, dance and visual arts, film and television. The 13th edition of the awards is running under the theme Unite, Excite and Educate. A total number of 664 NAMA entries were submitted for this year's edition from all provinces. The music category took a lead with 256 entries. Those who submitted included production houses, studios, stables, galleries, organizations, and associations. The main awards will be held next weekend.
Zimbabwean dancehall chanters Final Warning Crew have released a brand new music video to celebrate President Mugabe's 90th birthday. The duo is made up of two brothers, Prosper, aka Proda, and Edward Dambaza. The group says they want to show their appreciation to their president through song. They also thank him for what he has done for the youth of Zimbabwe. The Final Warning chanters emerged on the scene when they released a track titled Copacabana in 2010. They're set to perform their new song at the 21st February Movement 2014 celebration in Marondera. Radio is one of the most popular mediums of communication in Africa. This was proven so in Rwanda during the country's genocide in 1994, which left at least 800,000 people dead. Radio was used as a method to fuel the genocide through one radio station in particular. Their story is now being told in a stage production titled Hate Radio. Joining us from our Cape Town studios, we are joined by Jasper Velgrave, Director of Pro Helvetia, and Diogenes Tarindwa. Hello and welcome to Afroshowbiz News.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, Jasper, could you maybe please take us through what is Hate Radio really about?
Well, Hate Radio is a production that's a few years old now and has traveled very extensively throughout the world. And basically what it does, it has, the director Milo Rao has interviewed a whole series of people in Rwanda after the genocide and has very carefully researched the emissions of this Radio Télévision des Mille Collines, which was fueling the hate during the genocide. And he does, as much as possible, a very realistic reenactment of an emission of this radio show. And to increase the sort of realism of it, also the sonography of the theater plays is very true to the reality in terms that they build a radio set on stage, and the emission actually happens through an FM signal that the audience is listening to.
All right. Now, Jasper, why did you decide to bring this production to South Africa?
Well, it's a decision made in collaboration between the Swiss Arts Council and the Goethe Institute, the German Cultural Institute in South Africa, because we felt that this was an extremely important theatre production. It has had a huge acclaim in Europe, and it's, I think, something that reverberates throughout the African continent. It's also a very universal, I think, sort of image of what humanity can lead to in its extremes when people are, to some extent, creating stories that apparently a very large part of the population can start believing. The company has made a number of pieces around different recent instances of sort of extreme violence in history, like the Ceausescu regime and in Romania, recently also with Anders Breivik in Norway. So there is a theme there, and I think it's a very important piece, both from a theatrical point of view. It's an important theatre piece, but also in terms of its content.
If I may just go to Diogenes quickly. As an actor in the play, how has this experience been for you?
It has been one of the most important experiences for me. But what I do, I perform a character, and I have the chance that I'm among the actors, like the only actor who has a direct souvenir about the character I'm called to perform. So I remember his voice. I used to follow his shows on the radio. But I don't try to imitate. I worked intensely about the feelings. I try to identify the motives of his own. And what I do during the performance, I let myself to be traversed or to be filled by what I identified as his feelings and his motives.
Right.
So I try to let myself during the show filled by this character.
All right. Now,
not before and not after.
If I may just interrupt you there. The play has taken place in various parts of the world. How did other people in other parts of the world receive it?
I think it's a play, even if it's emphasized about an aspect of contemporary Rwandan history, but it has in itself a part of a human. It's so human. So when, for example, in Japan, in France, people they were like they received it very, very positively, and positively in a way that most of them were shocked. But in itself, there is something which is beyond Rwanda and the Rwandan story and the Rwandan history, which becomes like part of human legacy, something like this, which is not foreign for them. It's part of their own. Yeah.
All right. I'm afraid that is where we'll have to leave it, but thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
It's about that time where we have to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to catch the repeats every Sunday at 2 a.m. and again at 1:30 p.m. We'll be playing Out with Happiness by Mafiki Zolo featuring Maydi, as this was one of the most played songs at the moment. I am Musam Khalipi. Thank you and goodbye.